everyone, welcome to another video, and this is a video I've been meaning to do for a while, and all this video is going to be essentially is me just going over my 112 collection, as well as pointing out my top 10 favourite action figures I've got from the line so far. Now as you can see here, I've got my fair few of them. I've got 23, however I am missing the brand new released Ascending Knight Batman. Well, you know, the regular one when that comes out, because it's really soon to being released in like the US and whatnot. The Nightmare Batman, the Joker, Deathstroke, Red Skull, the Frankenstein and the Space Ghost, amongst others, such as, you know, the Commander Rogers and stuff. But in most cases I just feel like getting one of the figure just suffices. Oh, and Arsenal, or Speedy, whatever you want to call him, and Black Adam. But yeah, I've got my fair few of them, so I think I'm kind of qualified to do a quick top 10 list. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, guys. Let's start off with number 10. Okay then, and in at number 10 is a very shaky looking Deadpool. No, that's not my camera work, that's just a figure kind of bouncing around on the flight stand. But yes, some of you may be a little bit shocked that he's so low on the list at number 10. But although I think it's a really nice figure and it is very good looking, it's nice to play with and pose, I think it's a bit restrictive, particularly in the shoulders. And I do find that his accessories are a little lacking. I would have liked it if maybe he came with a knife or something else. Or maybe a funny accessory, you know, similar to the Marvel Legends one that comes with tacos and whatnot. As I think he was originally meant to come with a pizza slice. But regardless, it's a really nice figure. It's still very easy to find, surprisingly, because it is Deadpool and he's a very popular character. But if you are interested in picking this up, I'd suggest you get it as soon as well, give it a month or two, and it will be around the 100 region. I was looking at picking him up for 80. But yeah, as it stands, it's a really nice figure, and I think it's a pretty good way to start off the list. Anyway, let's move on to number 9. Okay, and coming in at number 9 we have the regular Captain America, as this is the more modern version. You could get a San Diego exclusive one, which was a classic interpretation, as well as a Commander Rogers. But I only have this one, and well, it's the only one I need really. It looks really nice. I changed up his pose a little bit. I got a little bit bored of him just holding his shield out in front of him. Now I've got this, and I also find this really boring as well. It's a very difficult figure to pose actually, due to the ankles being as, well, crap as they are really, for lack of a better term. But it's a really nice figure. It was, I think, the 4th 112 collective figure I got, and although it's an old one, I still think it's a good one, and I do quite like it a bit. The articulation is nice, the accessories, or aside from the ankles, sorry, the accessories are, you know, they're okay. I mean, he has his shield, of course, with the really cool magnetic feature. I'm not sure of any other Cap figure that has that feature either. But as it stands, I think it's a really nice figure. I'd highly recommend it. It's still relatively easy to find, as well as the Commander Rogers and the Comic-Con one, surprisingly. I don't know, maybe they're just not that as big a sellers as, like, say, Deadpool or whatnot. But yeah, I'd recommend you pick him up. He's a really nice figure, and he will make a nice stand-in until they give us the rest of the Avengers. But yeah, that was number 9, Captain America. Really nice figure. Let's move on to number 8. Okay then, and coming in at number 8 we have Lieutenant Sulu. Now what amazes me about this figure is it was one of the very first ones they did, along with the Dark Knight Returns Batman and the Dredds. And if you just look at that head sculpt, it's a little bit overexposed with the light, but it just looks amazing. It looks exactly like George Takei did back then, and it's just fantastic. He has 2 heads, a more serious one and a more cheeky grinning one. I like him with the cheeky grin, so that's what I have here, and it just looks excellent. He has brilliant accessories. You can take his shirt off and give him the fencing sword. He has a phaser, a communicator, tricorder, and they can all attach to his utility belt. Aside from the tricorder, that will obviously just go over his shoulder. Nice glossy boots, and yeah, he's a brilliant figure. I really do like him. He's gorgeous. And anybody that watches my videos know I'm a massive Spock fan, so the fact that I chose this one over the Spock just shows you how much I like this figure. It's really nice. You can pick him up relatively cheap for around about £60, so I'd highly recommend you do that if you are a fan. And yeah, it's just awesome. Some of the drawbacks to this guy are, because it was one of the earlier ones, the articulation isn't as good, so he doesn't have like double hinged elbows and whatnot. But I think I'm willing to look past that, because it is just an awesome figure. Anyway, time for number 7. Okay, coming in at number 7 we have the Green Arrow. Now if you get this in the right light, he just looks absolutely gorgeous. All of the greens just bounce off of him and they look excellent. As you can see there, you've got a nice mixture of plastic for the boots, the spandex and the fake leather. It looks incredible. And what's really impressive is the fact that you can actually pull the string back and put him in a really nice kind of arrow shooting pose. And although it's difficult to do and it is a little bit fiddly, it's really nice. And when you get it done right, it looks incredible. You get a slew of interchangeable arrows, which are really cool. A bendy wire in the hood, which is, well, I don't really like bendy wire, but I think it works really well in the hood. You got the goatee, which you need for a green arrow. And yeah, I just think he's a brilliant figure. You get a very nice amount of accessories. The ankles, again, are something that kind of lets him down. But it's just something I'm going to have to live with. And my lamp's gone out, but it doesn't matter. I've come to the end of this one. Anyway, as I was saying, beautiful figure. And you can see now that he isn't in such light, he doesn't look as impressive. But you get this guy in some nice light and he will pop right off the shelf. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay then guys, and coming in at number 6 we have the PX exclusive Daredevil. Now I chose this one over the regular one, which I do have just there in the corner, you can see near Punisher. Well, I just kind of prefer the look, to be honest. I like the classic look. I think it looks really nice, and yeah, it's just awesome. I've given him the more battle damaged head, as I like to think of this as him in his early career, and then I've got him in his later career there. So obviously he's making mistakes and whatnot early on, that's why he's all banged up. I've just got the batons drooped over his shoulder. I think that's a really cool pose, you know, he's sensing, oh, there's someone behind me and whatnot. And yeah, he's a brilliant figure. Really nice accessories on this guy. Well, what can you expect with this? You get the batons, 2 sets. One you can put in the, you can have him hold them, or you can put them in there, or you can use these bendy wire ones. The bendy wire is a really clever idea as well in this scenario. It's a little fiddly, but if you get it right, it'll look awesome. I've seen some really nice photos of this guy online. And yeah, he's really cool. The colours are really nice. The articulation's good. It's a little bit hindered in the groin area, but that's to be expected with this costume. The ankles are alright as well. And he also comes with 3 interchangeable heads, which I really like. You got a Matt Murdock, battle damaged, and a regular one. So yeah, I think he's a brilliant figure, and I just prefer the look. That's why I've chosen him over the regular one. But yeah, he's really nice. I'd highly recommend him. And let's move on to the next one, shall we? In at number 5 we have the Dawn of Justice Batman vs Superman Batman, and this is a really nice figure. I've got a review of him as well. I reviewed him very highly. I think he's a gorgeous looking figure, and probably the best 6-inch scale you can get for this guy. The Mafex one looks alright. It's a little bit tanned, but you know, it's not a bad figure. The SH Figure Arts is alright, but for my money I think this is the best one. The detail is really nice. The colours are perfect. The head sculpt, although it's only the bottom section of his mouth, it does look like Affleck. You've got some really nice accessories with the grapple gun, the bat brander. You got that whole cape system again, which is really, really a pain in the arse. But if you just take that and just put it to the side and just look at the figure as a whole, it is gorgeous. A slew of interchangeable hands, loads of accessories, batarangs, hands already holding batarangs, and yeah, it's just an awesome figure. And I especially love how big the cape is, and I really like the dirty look they've given it here, and it even looks better than the Hot Toys cape in my opinion. And in my opinion, aside from the head sculpt, I think this is a better figure than the Hot Toys one in general. But yeah, moving on to the next one. I know I've given this one a high rating, so yep, that might not be happy, that might not make a few of you happy, but yeah, it's just my opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, let's move on to number 4, shall we? In at number 4 we have the PX exclusive Judge Dredd. Now this is not to take anything away from the regular one. Blue is my favourite colour, and this one kind of, well, it just draws me in a bit more. But the other figure is also fantastic, and just as easily could have taken that spot if I didn't have this one as well. This is a brilliant figure. I absolutely adore it. I really like the character of Judge Dredd, and I think they did this brilliantly, especially when you consider this is one of their very first ones. The rifle, the removable magazines and everything. You've got holsters, grenades, billy clubs, handcuffs, an absolute amazing amount of accessories. All of the detail, the dry brushing, the suit is nice and tight, it looks really good. The magnetic aspects are inspired as well. I think that's a brilliant idea. It's a very nice way, that way you don't have to worry about them falling off, and you can just pose it and then put them back on, and yeah, it's just a gorgeous figure. And you can also take this up a step and get a Lawmaster for it. I'm not going to go that far, as I've already got one for my regular one just over there. So this guy's just going to have to be standing for now, looking badass, upholding the law. Anyway, moving on to the next one. And coming in at number 3, we have the MEZCO retail release of the Punisher. Now, what can I say about this guy that hasn't already been said? He's loaded to the walls with rifles, pistols, mini machine guns, big machine guns, grenade launchers, knives. It is perfect, and you get 3 beautiful looking head sculpts, with this one being my personal highlight. The battle damaged one with the plaster and the black eye, it just looks incredible. The beautiful armor plate representing the skull, all the accessories and the boots, and it truly is just a magnificent figure. It really is one of my favorites. Knife on the back there, even on the back it just looks gorgeous. It really is a fantastic figure. It's easily my favorite Marvel figure I own, and he is relatively difficult to find. I struggled to find him for less than 100 in the UK. I managed to get him for 90 brand new, so I was really pleased with that. More expensive than the average one, but well, this just isn't your average figure, is it? It's just so badass. But yeah, get this while you can, please, otherwise you will regret it. And taking the second spot, we have the San Diego Comic-Con 2016 exclusive Dawn of Justice Armored Batman. And this figure really is fantastic. It's my favorite, as in, like, I think it's the best figure I have, but it isn't my favorite, I should say. You'll find out which one is in a little while, but this is just a fantastic figure with die-cast pieces, including the chest piece there, the kryptonite spear. You get his regular grapple gun, a different utility belt as you can see there, all this armor plating just put on top, and a personal highlight is that gun that you can actually unclip and load with a grenade. You get grenades, grapple lines. I don't think he comes with batarangs actually, but yeah, it's just a fantastic figure. Beautiful cape as well, nice and tattered, with some nice weathering applied to it as well. And even if you just compare like shin guards, for example, it's not the same on both sides. They really did put a lot of time and effort into this, and it is a labour of love. And not to mention, how badass do those eyes look lit up. It is just honestly incredible, and it was very, very, very close to being #1. Now, this is a figure I can't exactly recommend because it's so hard to find and so expensive. I'll tell you, it's the most expensive I've ever paid for a figure. This, it was over 200. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I'd highly recommend him. He truly is gorgeous. But before I move on to #1, I have 3 honourable mentions. And to start off my honourable mentions, I have the Dawn of Justice Superman. Now, this is a figure that's received its fair share of critiques, in particular the skin tone being far too light. And whilst I do agree with it, it looks a lot nicer in camera, and this light really doesn't do it any justice at all. If I just adjust it a bit, there you go. That, oops, it's gone again. But that looks, it looks a lot like him. You can't deny it. It's beautiful. The colours, the costume is done so well. The material, the way the light catches and bounces off all those little indents and whatnot on his costume. I still think the feet are far too long, but that's just a little nitpick of mine. But yeah, it really is a gorgeous figure, and I'd highly recommend you get him. And #2 on the list, Captain Marvel, or Shazam, whatever you prefer. Now, this is a figure I really like. He comes with 3 interchangeable heads, so you can have him all smiley, happy days. You can have him really angry, or you could have him just neutral. I like to have him a bit more smiley. And I do wish he had yellow instead of gold for that Thunderbolt. You know, it looks a bit Alex Ross-like, but I do like it quite a bit. And another issue I have is that drooping crotch he has. That really is just very, very bothersome, but it's something I can live with. The paint and the articulation is done fairly well on him. He comes with nice accessories, and yeah, I'd really recommend him. He's a nice figure. But the one that takes it from my honourable mentions list and nearly made the actual list, the Mutant Leader. Now, this is a very nice figure, and it's a little bit biased because I love the Dark Knight so much. But yeah, he's a really nice figure. 3 heads, which are all very different. You've got a battle damaged one with the plaster on his nose, an angry one, and well, another angry one that has the spikes on his head. And yeah, he's just a beautiful, beautiful looking figure. The shading and everything done on the muscles is really nice. And if they made this now, these joints would just look so much better, I know it. But yeah, I can live with it. The stitch work and everything's done really nice. The ankles actually have decent articulation on him as well. And yeah, he's really, really nice. I'd highly recommend you get him. He's still really easy to find as well. Really nice along your Dark Knight Returns Batman, I'll tell you that now. And yeah, he really is nice. But now that I've got the honourable mentions out of the way, I think it's time we actually move on to the main number 1 figure. Okay then guys, I'm just going to level with you. This is a complete and utter cop-out. My favourite figure are the 3 Dark Knight Returns Batmans. If I had to choose one, I'd go for the black one up here in that really badass pose with the batarangs with the gritted teeth. But it was just so hard not to have this as number 1. The armoured Batman nearly took it, but I have such a soft spot and massive biasness towards this story. And the fact that this was their very first outing into the 112 line, it just shows how far they've come and just how good these figures were to begin with. The ankles were great, the articulation was amazing, no issue with any stitch work, no QC issues at all, interchangeable hands, brilliant accessories which differed from figure to figure, and it truly was just an absolutely new standard of action figures. It really is. I absolutely love it. The black one will always be my favourite, but these two are also really, really nice as well. For a long time as well, this was the most expensive action figure I owned. I did pay 120 for him, which looking back at how much I paid for other figures now, yeah, that isn't that much. But yeah, he really is awesome. You get interchangeable feet, even with the leg holster. You get utility belts for the thighs, rifles, grappling ropes, batarangs, interchangeable heads. It truly is an absolutely brilliant figure. And although the cape system on this was utter crap, you know, with all those wires and stuff, if you just have it dangling like this, you won't be disappointed. They truly are amazing. And yes, it is a complete and utter cop-out for number 1, but just to anyone that's a little bit hurt out there and feels like I've not given them a definitive answer, it is this guy. Although I do like these two as well, so I've kind of grouped them into one, but if you need me to say one, it's him. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. It was a lot of fun to make. I've really enjoyed collecting this line, and I can't wait to get more in the future. Anyway, like I said, this is just my opinion. Don't take it to heart. You know, if you agree with what I say, you know, talk about it down below. If you don't, tell me how much of an idiot I am. I don't mind. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day and take care.